Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Branch Hatch Circuit and rainy England. And I guess it's fitting that it's got a little bit of a rain, a little bit of a drizzle here, and a little bit of a wet track being over here in England for this one here at a track that doesn't get touched too much here on the surface. And it's good to see that it's made its rounds and it is on the schedule here for CSRL. Carl Hamwork and Joe Sullivan here in the booth tonight for CRN's coverage of the CSRL. This is round number 3. I know it seems like everything's kind of got mixed up lately and it's all over the place. As 2 weeks ago we had the internet issues that we had to kind of simulcast it on Saturday. Last week iRacing decided that they weren't going to let anybody do anything as they were dealing with some issues on their end. But we are back. It's been long overdue at this point, and we come to a track that's got a very unique history looking into it. And it's for those that are into motor racing, especially Formula One, know who Murray Walker is, and this is a track that he was very fond of, and he always mentioned that he wondered why they spent millions of pounds trying to turn Silverstone into a great circuit when they already had a great one here with Brands Hatch. And this thing started off and was kind of founded and not organized, but it didn't come into play until cyclists seeing the field here right off the London Dover Road 125-mile tour. After a 125-mile tour in 1926, and they asked the local farmer if they could use the fields here and kind of the tracks from the tractors to create a bit of a little circuit or a track that they can kind of practice on. And that is literally how the track was kind of designed, and it's pretty unique. It's not that often that bicyclists create the racetracks that we run on right now, but pretty interesting history. And I'm just glad to be back out here in action. Joe, welcome back finally to Wednesday night here for CSRL.
I know it feels like we took a season off there with the 2 weeks that we've had off here. So glad to be back on a Wednesday and ready to see this, live action here tonight, and it's gonna be a good one. I mean, I actually got some laps in at this track last night, I believe. It was not raining in my session that I did, because that would be not good for me. But it's gonna be raining here for these boys, and gonna be raining pretty hard here at the beginning of this. And looking at the radar, it looks like it's gonna die off as the race goes on. But they're gonna have to manage the rain, the puddles, the drivers, the cars, and see who can manage all that and come out on top here tonight.
Yeah, this track, it may seem, not too menacing of a track when you're looking at the track layout, but a lot of the sections of this track are very, very fast, and really not that much width to the track to be able to kind of like slide the car out around under high speeds. Obviously, you throw a little bit of wet dampness onto the track. Got to make it even tougher out there for some of these drivers to maneuver out there, and certainly for passing, as there's not too many passing opportunities here at Brands Hatch on a normal, clear, sunny day. With the rain out here, I'm sure there's going to be some guys slip sliding places that they don't want to be in, especially off the track. There's usually some, a decent amount of runoff on some of these corners, and a good amount of grass and or kitty litter that the drivers will be able to utilize if they need to. Not that they want to, but before you hit the walls here, you got a little chance to save the car. But we'll take a look at the standings from the 2 races that we did have so far in the series, and it is Christian Ortiz Torres on top of the boards, along with John Nominger, as both of them are sitting on top there with 53 points. Tied for third is Bryce Rayner and Antonio Avendano Diaz in the AM class. And then over in the pro class, we have Craig Jancic, Peter Moeller on top of the boards, each with their wins and the 53 points on top. Jim Dutton, Osvaldo Blanco are going to be tied there for third, and then Colin Winslow, Aidan McAvoy tied there for 5th place. But we come to a track, as we said, it doesn't really get touched that much here on the surface, so we'll see how these drivers handle it out there. Currently in qualifying right now, about 2 minutes left in qualifying, and want to bring up another thing that 40 Racewear and Jim Herrick is going to be a part of, and certainly want to give it some time. And if you take a look down in the down the details here for the race here tonight, Jim Herrick and 40 Racewear are part of the MS charity race that's going to be coming up here on July 17th for iRacing, and he's going to be paired up with none other than former IndyCar driver Richie Hearn, and it's going to be very interesting to see Jim Herrick out there in the 40 Racewear Corvette, teaming up with him for the 4th annual charity race to benefit the National MS Society. You can watch the live broadcast Wednesday, July 17th on iRacing's YouTube channel immediately following the CSRL broadcast. Support this 40 sim racing team as they take on iRacing staff members along with celebrity racing names like Tony Kanaan and Chad Knaus in an effort to raise funds and awareness for the National MS Society, an organization that pursues the vision of a world free of MS by funding cutting-edge research, driving change through advocacy, and providing programs and services that help people with MS and their families move their lives forward. And we'll bring up the there we go. Trying to get it up here in a second, but as I was mentioning, please consider making a donation to the National MS Society, or purchase one of these really cool beginner's guide to racing flags, T-shirts, or hoodies through one of the links in the message here, and down below you'll find the links in the little description here for YouTube. All proceeds go directly to the National MS Society, and we thank you for your support and efforts to end MS forever. And I know myself, my dad is one that suffers from MS, and it's not a fun disease to go through. It's not a fun disease, whether you're the person that having it, or how it affects the families, to try and help help their family members out that have it. So any help that you can do certainly is appreciated. But Joe, we are ready to get this thing underway. We're back here in action again, finally on a Wednesday night, finally at the regularly scheduled time, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the rundown of the qualifying, if it wants to bring it up. There we go. So in the pro class, it is going to be Jonathan Neal on the front row, with Craig Jansing in second. Colin Winslow, Randy Ayers, Pierre Muller make up your top 5. Siviani Madrigal, Dan Morera, Renan De Lima, Frank Bassano, and Tyler Torville are going to round out the top 10. Jim Dutton, Skyler Vickroy, Herbert Pineda, Devin Young, Jose Peraza, and Brandon Powell are going to round out the 16-car pro class field. Over in the AM class, it is going to be headed by, there we go, Bryce Rayner at the top of the boards, Carlos Rodriguez in second, Christian Ortiz Torres, John Nobinger, Jim Herrick, your top 5, Ian Wilson, William Burrell, Brian Farron, Stephen Price, Jay Little, your top 10, and then rounding out the 15-car field is going to be Brandon Potts, Kevin Nunn, Jason Potts, Todd Torville, and Paul Bailey. So a good sized field out here tonight. 31 cars that are set to take the rainy green flag here, and hopefully the rain lets up. Hopefully the fog lets up here a little bit, and these guys get to some racing. But either way, it's going to be a very fun one out here tonight. And yeah, wipers are on. We're ready for a little rainy action here in the England area here. And again, it's England, so I guess if you're going for realism, which you like to get from iRacing, you want realistic weather here in England, you're gonna get some rain.
Yes, you are. And 31 cars here, 31 drivers here tonight is awesome. I mean, these guys always got a full field, and I mean, we got 15, 16 in each division, so pretty even across for each division here, and excited for these guys to get back going here. Probably not the ideal conditions that they want to do here tonight, but it is what it is, and they got to brave it just like everybody else. But I wanted to do something new here, Carl. Who do you have tonight in the Pro Division and AM Division? Who do you think's going to come away here in the rain?
Well, I mean, that's really the big kind of curveball here to everything is the rain itself, and you got to wonder how much these guys have practiced the track itself, let alone the fact that the rainy conditions here. But I mean, if I had to put my money on anybody, it's hard to pick away from Craig Jancic there, your defending champion there in the 3. But Colin Winslow not too far off here, so maybe a little bit of a dark horse here. Maybe Jancic gets mixed up there with our pole sitter Jonathan Neal. So we'll go with a little dark horse in Colin Winslow to try and take it down here from 3rd. Over in the AM class, Bryce Rayner, I mean, you know, qualifies inside the top 10, but so did Carlos Rodriguez for the AM class. So it'll be interesting to see if one of those guys can get it done here. But I mean, you know, Christian Ortiz-Torres has been a pretty good force here so far this season. So again, I'm going to go third place on both of these. I'll take Colin Winslow in the Pro class and Christian Ortiz-Torres here in the AM class.
Well, it's a good choice picking guys up front, because I think passing here, like you said in the opening there, it's going to be hard. You know, even with this track is dry, it's hard to pass, but in this conditions, it's even going to be even harder. So, I mean, about the only way you can pass somebody is if they have a problem, you know, and get off course and be able to get around them. But I'm looking at a guy here who's he was really good last year. Well, he's your AM champ last year, Randy Oz. I think he's got something here for these boys here tonight in that Porsche, and I think I'm going to take him in the Pro class, and in the AM class, you know what, why not? I think I'll just go ahead and take number 44, John Obinger. Let's see if he can get it done. Go back to back here. Your winner from last week is, oh, here we go.
Yeah, we are not wasting any time. We are racing here in rainy New England. A little bit of a skipping here and there, so hopefully these guys would skip and head off track, as getting pretty racy here already, and they're already around. Goes Neil from the front, and he is going to rejoin safely off to the side. But man, right away we have an incident from our pole sitter. We hop up, and yeah, man, just hopefully everything settles down here. It's certainly a little taxing on some of the computers here and the servers when you get this many cars out there, let alone the rainy conditions. When you see how much spray coming up, and there is a spin from Jancic as well. So I mean, I figured maybe first and second would mix it up a little bit with each other, but the rain mixing up enough for both of them, and Jancic gonna have to spin it around here, and it is Colin Winslow taking the lead here. Randy Ayers right behind him, Paul Moeller and Simeone Madrigal, your top four, with Dan Morera back there in 5th place. What a turn of events here at the beginning. Take a look back here, 5th place now. Look back, looks like that is Jim Dutton going off track towards the back. We'll take a look here and see if that was indeed the case. Yeah, locking it up. Whoa. Hard impact, almost collecting another car along the way, and then backs it in there. Lost the rear fender, and then Jancic right there. Actually, that's Jancic. Not Jancic. It's Neil going off track again. Man, a rough start for Neil here, and trying to get back live here. And there we go.
Not the first lap that they wanted to have there.
But anyway, Bryce Rayner here, 5th place overall now. And he's in the AM class, but he's 5th place overall here in the race. A good start so far for the AM class. They've gotten way better. I mean, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the AM class are still there. They haven't lost it just yet. So, wild and crazy start here. Welcome back to CSRL.
They provide the drama, that's for sure. They know how to give us plenty to talk about. Wow.
So once again, 40-minute races here for CSRL, and they go by pretty quick. And it looks like a nice new paint scheme there for Colin Winslow. A little bit of a half and half there, and a pretty cool looking paint scheme. But again, 40 minutes for the session here, and they will still keep the my train of thought here. They will still keep Massano on the schedule. It's just going to move all the way down to the end of the schedule. So for those of you that were looking to tune in and have Massano as a 3rd race, basically they just took the entire schedule and kept the dates the same, and just moved Massano to the end of the season. So we'll still get to see that down there on August 28th for the season ender. But wild and crazy start, wild, wet, and crazy here for CSRL, and especially for these boys in the Pro class. I mean, Joe, the Pro class drivers are supposed to be the better drivers, right? I mean, we just lost 1st and 2nd place on the first lap.
That's what I thought, but hey, I mean, they're human too, so they'll make mistakes from time to time, and with these conditions, I mean, it's I guess we have 3 cars that are off track on lap 1. I mean, 3 out of 31.
3 that we see, but there was plenty more than that, I think. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But you see right there, you see the puddling up already on the outside, and No signs of this rain really letting up too much. I mean, there's a chance for it to maybe slow down a little bit later in the race, but the track is going to be wet the entire time, and I don't think there's going to be any kind of dry lines. As watching John Nobinger here getting a little sideways, and if we spoke too soon, that is, I believe, yeah, that was Carlos Rodriguez there, now falling back to third place. John Nobinger up to second place right now. So it's rough conditions out there, but as you said, I don't think it's going to get anywhere near dry enough for them to switch off of these wet tires. It's going to be wet the entire time, and man, I mean, looking at the incidents here, a lot of issues, and there is Nobinger going off track. Good job saving it, keeping it off the walls. He's going to bring it back on there, taking his time nice and safely, so everybody knows he's coming back on. Finds his way down in there in front of Jim Herrick, but this is survival. I mean, this is, you're worried about in these 24-hour races to survive for 24 hours. Well, you only got 40 minutes to survive here, and these guys are having trouble doing that.
And so I got to listen to a little bit of their practice, and with a slower pace, usually we're seeing pit stops, but I was hearing some rumblings about maybe a no stop as Jim Herrick gets a little loose on the braking zone.
And a big incident there. Tyler Torville, you talk about pit stops. I don't think Torville was intending to go in the pits on that situation right there. As we'll take a look exactly what happened, as unfortunately he's already spun out right there. And yeah, you see out here on the outside just catches a little bit of extra water, and that's it's really tough here. If you've never raced in the rain, you need to find basically not the racing line. The racing line typically is rubbered in, and that's where it's actually slicker through the corners. So that's why you'll see some of the drivers in a lot of the corners taking kind of the middle or the outside line to get the better grip going through the corners. But I mean, man, good luck if you're out there right now. Colin Winslow doing a good job. Randy Ayers right there in second, not letting them get away right now. But over in the M class, Bryce Rayner still having a good run so far, in fifth place overall, and got a couple cars in between him and Carlos Rodriguez in second place in the M class. John Nobinger in third. But I mean, I guess they're making up for lost time and giving us plenty of drama here in the first 6 minutes of this race.
Yeah, these guys are. I mean, they'll get it figured out here. They'll make their adjustments and get this ship steered straight and keep it on the track. Like you said, you got to kind of find the line, and as iRacing is getting better and better at the dynamic track and stuff like that, to where it's more realistic, and as these lines that these drivers are on get kind of, as they drive over, they'll push the water out of the way, and it'll help with being more consistent in the braking, and like we've seen Tyler Torville with the acceleration coming down with the front stretch there. But the visibility here is just, just not good. I mean, regardless of the rain or not, you throw the rain to it, it just makes it even worse. Like, how is Peter Moore, it's so hard to see here, and it's such a turn, like, one of my favorite words here is turning track, it's right, left, or there's like a couple lefts, which I thought would be the hardest part of this track. The left-handers, where you had to be really good in those parts of the track in order to kind of separate yourself from everybody else, because most of the right-handers here are carried with some speed and aren't too terrible, but like this left-hander right here is going to be hard for some of these guys, and it's going to be even worse with the rain out there.
Yeah, riding along here with Peter Moore here in third place, and you got to be right there, and you got to be ready to make a pass when you can, but you can't follow too close, or you see that spray coming off. And he's trying to run, different lines, not necessarily because that's, the racing line, or that's because where he wants to be right now. He's doing it for visibility, and he's trying to stay out of the spray from both Winslow and Randy Ayers up front. But diving to the inside here, looking to try and make the pass on the inside. You got to be careful getting on those curves, as man, it really doesn't like the corner there for me. and just really kind of jumping around there. So we'll try and keep it off of there. But these curbs, I mean, typically you're grabbing a lot of these curbs around Brands Hatch. They are slick here in the rain, and you can't really touch them at all without getting a little bit crazy here and there. So you got to be very careful. We've seen Peter Moller go to the inside there, look to try and make a pass, but had to get on the curbs because that was the inside line that he was shown by Randy Ayers, and really couldn't do anything. Couldn't really get aggressive with it because he was just going to spin those tires on the inside. But a couple more incidents here while we were running along board with Peter Moller, and we'll take a look back here with, if it allows me to, it looks like maybe it won't even let me do that. So try one more time here, but yeah, Craig Jancic again, the Lamborghini not being nice here in the rain, as another incident here. Actually, that's not his fault. That is sideways was Carlos Rodriguez right there. As it seems like that part of the track right there is it's not like in the servers right now. So hopefully we can avoid any kind of issues there. But man, Colin Winslow having a good lap right there and pulling away just a little bit. 1.5 second lead now over Randy Ayers, who's maybe having to look in his mirror a little bit as Moller is not going away, and he certainly would like to make this pass and get up there and challenge Winslow for this lead. But before you know it, man here in the Jameson Lamborghini is going to be right there in the mix as well. Silvani Madrigal reeling these guys back in, and it was a 3-car battle. It's about to be 4.
Yeah, Silvani, he does really well in these rain races. It seems like, I don't know for sure what his record is, but it always seems like he does really well in the rain. He's just that's nice and smooth and collective, in the rain, and being able to handle his car. I was going to mention the cars. I mean, you look out front here, and there seems to be a pattern with the top 3 drivers here and what they're driving, and they're able to handle this rain here so far. But it's going to be a huge day. I mean, this could be a huge day for Colin and Peter. With Craig having his problem there on lap 1 for a points day.
On lap car there, and again, it gets these lap cars have time, but it's still very tight and very close here to try and allow the leaders to go by. But good job there, as Winslow now stretched out to 1.6 seconds, as Peter Moller is still right there looking for a way around Randy Ayers. Still have yet to find it. Maybe it comes back to something that we talk about every single race. I mean, maybe pit stops don't happen here with the slower pace and they can stretch it out, but that could play a big part as well. If one of these guys has to pit, the other one doesn't. They're all in the Porsche here. The top 3 are in the Porsche, as Joe mentioned. But some may be driving the track a little bit different, maybe a little bit more on the throttle, or some of the guys will be rolling through the corners a little bit more, saving a little bit of fuel to get them to the end. But I mean, pit stops or lack thereof could help the battle right here in the Pro Class. As
Bryce Rayner.
I was just about to mention that the reason you see the AM Class on top of the Pro Class is Bryce Rayner just ran the fastest lap of the race of 1:37.57. But maybe got those tires just a little bit glazed over there and had a bit of an issue. We'll take a look. Hopefully it lets me take a look here and show you exactly what happened. Right there, right into the braking zone. Slid it sideways, kept it off of everything, and got it off track. Got very close right there.
Dan Morera, yeah, he's able to sneak around in there. No damage under the car, so that's a good. And they had such a big gap on, was it the top 7 had such a big gap, I think?
He's still got
now he's sliding back a little bit here now.
He's still got a 2.5 second lead though over. Actually, looking at the wrong one. He's still got a 12.8 second lead over John Nobinger, and is the only AM inside the top 10. And speaking of that, let me just go ahead and double check, because we've had the issue before where we had a driver in the wrong class and in the wrong denomination. So just trying to take a look, and now Bryce Rayner is indeed an AM class driver, but just driving the wheels off that thing right now in the top 5 overall, and there's nobody else in the AM class in the top 10 right now. So great drive here from Rayner, even with the little bit of a mix-up and a little bit of a spill. But man, keeping our eyes on the battle right here. This is definitely hot and heavy, but got to look back a little bit further, and I can even find him. For some reason, I can't even find him on here now, but a battle back in the back for 7th place with Jonathan Neal trying to work his way back through. Again, the pole sitter here tonight had the first lap, first turn really issue in that 23, and is trying to rein it in here and run his way back up through the field. He's right behind Dan Marrero right now in the battle for 6th.
Yeah, I just looked at the overall standings, and Craig is up to 6th overall, and Jonathan Neal is back to 8th. I am blown away as how fast they got back up there like that. I mean, they were pretty much at the back of the field after lap 1, and they're able to drive back up through here and get back into the top 10, top 8.
Just about coming up on 15 minutes into this race, and I mean, maybe a chance to breathe right now and try to figure out what's actually transpired here and who's where. I mean, you want to talk about shaking up the standings. You got guys like Jay Little are up 12 positions overall from the start of the race, and up 7 positions just in the M class, up to 3rd place right now. So great run by the 196, who I believe was one of the guys that was not able to get a qualifying time in, whether it was by choice or by mistakes. He was not able to get a time in, but he is up to 3rd place right now in the M class, which again is above the pro class right now because they got a driver in Bryce Rayner that is setting better lap times than they are. So, I mean, you want to talk about send a little message here to speed it up here in the rain. That's what Rayner's trying to do here, I think.
Yeah, the leaders are starting to catch the tail end of this field. So this is going to get real dicey here, as Colin is having to navigate through some of these guys in these conditions. So we'll have to keep one eye on that and see how that transpires, and keep an eye on the rest of this racing and see, Peter Moore was right behind Randy he's still there. Looks like he could have got around him a couple times, but just couldn't complete it. Siviana just sitting there waiting in the lead.
Right along here with Siviana Madrigal going past the lap car there on the right-hand side, heading into the final corners. And you see just the different lines these guys are driving down the front stretch here to try and get just a look at where the braking zone is and where the corners are coming up. And another car off to the right there, I believe that is Tyler Torville off to the left-hand side. As, man, the hits just keep on coming here. And again, it's who can survive out here. Randy England, another one off to the left here. It's carnage out there, and I mean, we gotta send a bus out there to pick up all these drivers from all the cars that are just sitting out around the track.
I think I'm gonna wait till the rain stops to go get them. I can sit there until the rain's done.
Man, we can make a bunch of money right now just going down there selling ponchos and umbrellas and tow trucks. I mean, yeah. It's been a rough one here for these guys out here. It looks like Brian Farron had an issue as well, had to jump back to the pits. But man, this is a great spot to be here for Siviani Madrigal, just watching this battle right now, waiting, and I'll be licking his chops, waiting for them to make a mistake, and really not too far up the road, only less than 5 seconds up the road, as Winslow's starting to stretch out here a little bit, but still within range, and one little mistake by Winslow, and all 3 of these guys will be right there on his tail again.
Yeah, and Siviana, he's just, I mean, in a good spot right here. I mean, obviously you would rather be leading, but, I mean, 4th with, I mean, absolutely no pressure behind you. The next car is 12 seconds behind him for position, so he's just riding, maybe saving some fuel, maybe trying to figure something out here. This goes a little wide there. Oh, there's a slow car on the inside there. But yeah, he's just sitting here riding and seeing how these guys are racing. Maybe they'll burn a little bit more fuel, and maybe you can just save that little bit extra, and maybe you can, if they do get some pit stops in here, maybe you can take just a little bit less and be a little bit faster on pit road. Pass them there.
I want to send a shout out to our our other sponsor here in the series, and that being Skyler Vickroy, as we take a look at his Mustang. That it's still looking good. Still got all the fenders on it right now, and plugging his way along here. Currently in 10th place in the Pro class. But if you haven't done so yet, take a look and ride on board here with the 28. If you head on over to youtube.com/AVOVOOM Gaming, that's AVOVOOM Gaming, or you can take a look at it on Twitch. That is his Twitch handle as wrong thing here. That'd be why. It is twitch.tv/AVOVOOM. He's kind of had an up and down season here so far. Obviously, the season opener was not exactly friendly to him. Bounced back a little bit in race number 2, but in race number 3, again, just kind of plugging away in 9th place right now, as it looks like I'm running the limit in the pits. And we've seen some guys going in the pits. I can't really say if it's by design or not. I mean, there's been so much carnage and calamity out there so far. I don't know what has been done just for fuel and or tires, and what's been done because they just have to, because the cars are just going to completely wrecked out there. But man, it's going to come to a head eventually here between these two, between Randy Ayers and Peter Moeller. Moeller is still right behind Randy Ayers, and Ayers is obviously running his best race in the Pro class so far, as this is his first foray into the Pro class after the M class championship last season. So this is his second race in the season, and looking, well, as good as he can be. He obviously had a little bit of help with first and second place taking themselves out, but I mean, he's doing a great job in second place right now. But you see, it is just treacherous out there. And another one looks like that is the 64 spinning sideways of Kevin Nunn. But man, you can't take any of these corners for granted. And oh, by the way, you got a hungry Peter Moeller right behind you.
Yeah, where do you take a? Where do you blink on this track right now, Carl? I mean, there's no time for a second of relief. You know, I mean, even on a straightaway here, you got the rain to deal with, a lap car to deal with, or somebody battling behind you. I mean, these 40 minutes for these guys are going to be. I mean, it's full throttle the entire time. I mean, non-stop action for them in the car here.
I mean, you can't blink because you're too busy squinting, trying to see through the rain, see through the fog, and then trying to pick out your braking points and your turning points. I mean, at least this is a track that does have the markers, the 50 boards and the 100 boards to let you know.
No problem with the AMCAT here. Started breaking up there.
You're good. Trying to jump over to it right now as I see it here, and this is again, Bryce Rayner had a good sizable lead. Big little shimmy going into the final corner here, and a good job of the other drivers avoiding the spinning at number 24 there, as Rayner going to get it back on track. Lost a ton of time and fell back to now 8th place overall, but he has still got a 6.5 second lead over John Nomier there in second place. So he's very fast out here, but maybe just pushing his luck a little bit too much. And I mean, he's had the best pace out here so far. He's had the fastest lap of the race, but sometimes you gotta rein in a little bit, and it's not easy to do. I mean, we mentioned before, I very, very much struggle with trying to run at a slower pace than, I don't want to say all out, but when I try and back it off just a little bit, that's when I have my issues, and that's when I not necessarily lose focus, but Moeller tried to move there, and just Randy Ayers shutting the door. I mean,
that would have been one heck of a move, because he was taking advantage of those guys getting around those lap cars, and maybe Randy wasn't going as aggressive as Peter could, and was trying to push the issue there a little bit, and he tried to get to the inside of Randy there and trying to take advantage of that situation, as he's there again.
And he is right there, and I mean, typically for Randy, if he can make it through the first 5 minutes of the race, he's usually pretty safe and he can make it to the end. But man, I'm not discounting anything right now as we're watching this battle right here. And again, Saviani Madrigal not too far behind. Here goes Muller again, diving up the inside. This time, he's going to shove his way through there and some contact. Still side by side. Randy is going to have the inside line for the next corner, so he is going to hang tough. But now it looks like Muller's going to try and look for the inside. Ayers shuts it down. We're only just halfway, or past halfway in this race, and it's racy. It is tasty out here. As Madrigal looking to get around these couple lap cars, he wants to get up in here in the battle as well.
Yeah, I think Peter is kind of done playing around here. I think he feels like he's got a little more speed than Randy, and wants to try to run down Colin as Colin is just kind of driving away. He's at almost 10 seconds now. 10-second lead here over these guys. He was able to get through those lap cars pretty good, and Peter is seeing that, I think, and wanting to get around Randy here and see if he can get up there and challenge Colin if he can run him down. He feels like he's got a little bit more speed than Randy, which he's been right on Randy's rear bumper pretty much this entire race here so far.
More issues for Skyler Vickroy here, just going off track and come back on. So he is going to slide back to 12th place overall, but he's still in 9th place in the pro class, which is more important here. But now it looks like maybe Neil having some more issues here, as again our pole sitter here on the night and getting clipped pretty hard there. Take a look at, it looks like that was in a battle with Dan Morera, and gotta try and take a look at that one more time. I may need to rewind it just a little bit, as it certainly got close here on the battle, and not sure if Neil just came over to try and shut the door going into the final corner or what the case was. But yeah, it looks like Morera kind of just holding it right there, and man, a hard hit there. That it certainly seems like netcode came into play a little bit, but there was definitely contact there between the 23 and the 404, and Neil not exactly having the race that he probably envisioned after he grabbed the pole here tonight.
And I've noticed that since this, I guess these last couple of weeks, really you can't really door people anymore, because it just kind of immediately jumps you into a netcode situation. So I don't think he was turning anything too hard there. I mean, obviously they were going to hit, but the netcode of it just launched him out of the way and spun him around there. Yeah, because they should be able to touch doors just a little bit. I mean, it seemed like he caught the wheel. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it almost looked like the tire kind of came into play there, but Bryce Rayner again having some issues. Big little bobble right there, and luckily a good job saving it again. But man, he's doing everything he can to try and bring these AM class guys back up to him, but they're not having any of it, as they're kind of in their own little race. As Rayner out there to a 6.5 second lead. Nobinger has got another about 7, almost 8 seconds back to Little in 3rd place. As how about that? We finally see Pro Class back on top, and that is thanks to your pole sitter. After having that issue there on that last lap, maybe he got a little aggravated and just went out there and turned the fastest lap of the race at 137.41. So he's got the pace, he's got the speed, and now we'll see what he can do. As Morera right there off track, right in front of him, so he's going to get that position. But man, it seems like Neil is really struggling for grip here in this vet, and man, every corner it seems like when he's braking, it's a little wiggle and a bobble, and man, again, not fun out there. His tires have covered just about every acre of this entire facility here. I mean, he's gotten grass on them, asphalt. I mean, he's covered sand, kitty litter. I mean, he's getting it all. He's getting his money worth.
Once again, the rain not really looking like it's going to let up at all here, and I mean, these guys are going to have to deal with it one way or another. Actually, okay, I was going to say maybe it has let up a little bit. No, it doesn't look like it's let up at all, and the puddling is getting a little bit better, but it's only because these guys driving over the track and kind of shooting that spray off the line maybe a little bit. But what a race so far, and we're only 3/4 of the way through it. As again, another little bobble there for Neil coming through here. I mean, forget picture-in-picture. We need just you know, about 40 cameras right now, or at least 31, one for every car out there, as it's been quite a rough and tumble race out here. And looks like we're down to only 28 on the track. Looks like Brandon Potts in the pits right now, and has been in the pits for quite some time. So maybe down to 28 cars here in the race, as Jason Potts and Jim Dutton are both going to be last in their respective divisions. But Colin Winslow doing a great job out here out front, and at least one of my third place guys is doing good, as Winslow is doing a great job out here in first. Christian Ortiz Torres back a couple positions from the start, but still got a clean car. Still looking like he can, I don't want to say do some damage out there, because I feel like he might have some damage done to him. And a big slide there from Brandon Powell. Punts Ortiz Torres off the track, and I mean, yeah, it can happen that quick, and not even from what he's done wrong right there. So looks like Powell is gonna now make that pass. Obviously, Powell in the pro class with Ortiz Torres in the M class, but man, I mean, you look anywhere you want right now, and there's something going on with one of these cars.
Speaking of something going on, during all of that, we missed the battle for second. Finally was able to figure itself out there, as Peter Muller was able to get around Randy. Not sure if he just got around him, but he's already got a pretty good lead.
Well, let's take a look at why and how.
That's what happened.
That is exactly what happened. A great avoidance there by Muller, getting around him, and a great job by Randy Irons getting it back going, and only on to third place.
Not pointing the direction you wanted to be. I was able to just lose, I mean, a spot to Peter, but...
And he held off the charger from Cincinnati Madrigal as well. I mean, yeah, it could have been all kinds of bad for both of them. And again, a great avoidance by Muller for not hitting him coming out of that corner. But yeah, that is Muller now in second. Ayers back to third. But could have been a lot worse for both drivers. As we are coming up on minute number 31 here. So, Joe, thoughts on Brady England here? And as we look at Ian Wilson, hard impact right there. And
he's broken.
Yeah, looks like the car was not exactly driving well. And
that rear is broke, it looks like.
Yep, and is not pointing in the right direction. And man, Wilson was running so well right there. And unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the night for the 58 having to tow into the pits. But as I was saying, I mean, thoughts on the track here and how it is just eating up these drivers.
Man, it's just survival, right? I mean, Colin Winslow was able to just avoid the lap one stuff and grab the lead there and just keep it on track. You know, I'm sure that was his focus at that point, was just, I think if I can just survive and keep this thing pointed forward. As Randy, another issue, Siviano is going to be able to get around him.
Roger Goff moved himself into third.
More than 30 seconds here, Carl, without seeing some kind of action here, and somebody going off track or somebody spinning it. I mean, these conditions are terrible. I mean, just not good for these drivers. I mean, it's just...
No, and that's the thing. I mean, you can't really blame the drivers. I mean, it's...
No.
Obviously, yes, technically, they're the ones behind the wheel. They're the ones that got to control it, but it is not easy out there. I mean, it is like driving on ice in some spots. And oh, by the way, you're driving on that ice at over 100 miles an hour in some locations. So, you know, you got to feel that car making the wrong move just slightly, and you got to catch it right away, or... You're going around, you're going off track, you're going into another car. It's a split-second decision, and even for the best, it is not that easy to do. And especially when you got lap cars or you're doing battle, trying to make passes. And you see here Madrigal trying to go around the lap cars. A couple more guys coming in. It looks like everybody is going to be making a pit stop here tonight. Looks like everybody except the top 7 here. Maybe even actually, the top 7 in the pro class, and your M class leader Bryce Rayner as well as third place Jim Herrick in the M class, have all come into the pits to make a pit stop, and now Jonathan Neal coming in to make his pit stop. He's going to give up 6th position to do so. So it's getting close to that point where, you know, if you've been saving here a little bit, maybe you can make that decision to save a little bit more and make this thing to the end. But I feel like it's going to be a pretty big stretch here to make it all the way 40 minutes. I mean, you've been having to tiptoe and probably been off the gas a lot more than you typically are. So maybe it's an option for some of these guys, and we know some of them definitely like to save their fuel.
Yeah, with the lead that Colin has right now, I mean, and he's got cars in between him and second, so, I mean, I don't know what his fuel gauge looks like right now, but if he thinks he's close, I mean, you can kind of slow your pace way down here and try to save and not have to, you know, worry about, because, I mean, when you pit, you just add an opportunity for more mistakes. Oh, there we go. He's coming to pit road.
Leader into pit road, Colin Winslow into the pits right here. So we'll take a look at Peter Moeller here, who's in second and has got a nice sizable lead now over Siviani Madrigal. He's going to come into the pits this time by. We'll look at Madrigal. Looks like he's slowing down, but he is going to go around, as is Randy Ayers. So these guys going around at least for one more lap here. We'll see if they can make it to the end. And Madrigal has not been able to shake Randy Ayers from the back of him since he got by. And they will both get around Colin Winslow, who comes out right behind them now. Now, does Winslow have enough pace to get around these guys on sheer pace here without these guys coming into the pits if they are able to make it to the end? As Winslow coming out there, you got to be wary of this too. You come in, even if you're just taking a little splash of fuel, those tires cool down a little bit, and you do want them, you know, they're going to be cooler. They're going to be a little bit cooler than you know, your typical dry tires, but they do need to heat up just a little bit. They need to be in the right temperature zone, more so I would say than the you know, than your dry tires. They need to be in the right temperature to run at the correct amount of grip. As getting really close here, this is a battle now for the lead between Madrigal and Ayers, and man, thank God CSRL is back. That's all I can say. Is these guys, there's a reason they are. What a move there by Ayers.
Randy's going to take it from him.
Great move here. We'll see if these guys are going to stay out there. As you see right there, Winslow looming in the background. But I was about to say, I mean, there's a reason that this league here is consistently one of our highest hitting in terms of viewership week in and week out. Is, I mean, why wouldn't it be? They put on such great battles and great races here. Randy Ayers going to stay out again. Madrigal going to make that turn into the pits. So now, can Ayers stay out here? I would think possibly 2 more laps to go, depending on how the time runs out here. It's going to get very, very tight. It could end up being 3 laps, and 3 laps I think is going to be death. So it's going to be very, very close. I think if it's 2 laps to go, Ayers, you know, may have a shot at this. If it's 3, I think it's going to be pretty much impossible to make it that far on a tank of fuel. But I mean, man, looks like another car with 99 off.
I mean, he was racing as hard as these other guys. I mean, surely he can't make it unless he was doing something.
Like, it could be how he was holding up Peter Moeller in the beginning. You know, just running it really smooth and really staying off the gas as much as possible. But man, this is pretty crazy here. How this thing is all playing out. And right now, Rayner has got a huge lead, 29 seconds over Nobinger, as Rayner has yet to come in the pits as well. Looks like we got Ayers, Jancic in third, Moreira and Rayner, as well as looks like Jim Herrick are the only ones that have yet to come into the pits here tonight, as we move to skipping again here from some of these drivers. I'm surprised we haven't had more issues and guys, you know, dropped off of here because of the rough conditions and you know, how many cars are on track. A little bit of a wobble there from Ayers. We'll see if he comes into the pits this time. No, he's going to stay out again and trying to take a look. And I don't see the white flag there from Barney either. He's sleeping or it's 2 to go right now. And I don't know if that's what Ayers wanted to see. I think he would have loved to see that white flag this time by.
Yeah, and well, this is what we love here, Carl. Some drama, some late race drama.
Oh, that is some drama right there, and I don't know what happened there. It looked like maybe he missed his mark altogether. Maybe we talked about Barney falling asleep there with the flag stand. It looked like maybe Ayers kind of fell asleep behind the wheel. We'll take a look at that one more time.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, just I'm not sure if he just started to skid or right when he started to brake, or if he broke too late. But man, hard impact there. As he comes back on the track, you see that that right side or the left side not exactly too nice looking, but still out there, still running. And if he can make it, you know, on fuel here, he's still got a chance of finishing in the top 3 and maybe even second place yet. Back a little bit further in the field, Dan Morera did come in the pits, as is Bryce Rayner, and John Nominger is going to take over the lead in the AM class, as Rayner's still in the pits and not sure what is going on. If it could be a pit road penalty, he is still in there, still stuck in there, not moving. Turn of events. Eric now in the pits as well to make his pit stop. That leaves only Randy Ayers out there. But turn of events here in the AM class. Rayner still in the pits. Looks like now he's finally going, and by the length of that pit stop, that is definitely a penalty. And right there, Colin Winslow taking the white flag, this time by Randy Ayers into pit lane. And there you go. Unfortunately, one lap shy. Ayers going to have to come in, and now the question is, can he make it back to his pit stall? Going very, very slow, losing position after position here. Winslow 10.5 seconds into the lead over Moeller Madrigal in 3rd. Randy Ayers was in 4th. Now Jancic moves up into 4th position. But how about John Nominger? I mean, you called it. We each got a winner here, the way it looks. As I got the pro class here with Winslow.
I'm not counting yet. Not that it crossed his line.
Absolutely, this is nowhere near being over yet. But Colin Winslow running down the mid stretch, I guess we want to call it here. Not really a front stretch or a back stretch here, but hasn't really put too much wrong here today. And the 19 looking very good out here and certainly capitalizing on some points that he desperately wanted to do, as he came in here and tried to take a look. Yeah, he was tied for 5th position in the points, 4 points back of both Jancic and Peter Moeller, and could end up seeing Moeller at the top of the point standings all alone here, and maybe a tie, depending on how this all works out here with Winslow and Moeller, or Winslow and Jancic. Right behind him, Jim Dutton obviously having a horrible day and finishing dead last in the overall here in 31st. I'm not sure exactly what happened to the 16, but or the 83, but it happened early. But there is your winner in the pro class and overall. Colin Winslow getting it done here in the rain. Rough conditions. Christian Ortiz-Torres is going to come home in 3rd in the M class. 2nd place in the pro is going to be Peter Moeller. 3rd is Savani Madrigal. They're going to look over at John Nominger coming through the back portion of this track here, and just really a few more corners to get it done here. He's got a 34-second lead over Rayner. So, I mean, you take away that pit road penalty, Rayner's still got the lead, but maybe not by that much. I mean, John Nominger has turned on a very good pace here in the second half of this race, and would have maybe given a run at Rayner, as he certainly had his mistakes on the track, but it was the mistake in the pits that cost him the win. John Nominger, the 44, coming around. He is going to be your winner here tonight. First two-time winner on the series, if he can get over the line. Okay, now he can spin it out and do what he wants. That's a little shady there for a second.
That's only fitting there that he crashes it.
Absolutely. Bryce Rayner coming around here. He is going to be your 2nd place finisher here on the night. But man, what could have been here for Rayner? What could have been here for Jonathan Neal, who's going to come home in 7th place. Craig Jancic started in 2nd, fell back to 4th. It can happen that quickly. And we talked to Colin Winslow about it. You know, if he's going to have a shot at this thing, he's going to need some mistakes by Jancic. Jancic handed him one to him right here tonight, and should be enough to maybe overtake him in the points and maybe even jump all the way up to first place in the standings. But welcome back Wednesday nights. Welcome back CSRL. This is fun. Joe, is it next Wednesday yet? Can we just go ahead and skip? Is there a skip button? Is there a skip feature here? Can we just jump right ahead? What a race here tonight.
We're going to have to get these boys to schedule a double header. I mean, something one of these times so we can get back-to-back races. If they, I mean, the way they put on shows like that, I mean, just unbelievable action from start to finish. I mean, what a race for these guys. I mean, tough conditions. And you've seen that with all the issues that everybody had. I mean, everybody had issues here. I mean, I guess maybe despite Colin, I don't remember, or Peter, maybe didn't. I don't really see much for him. But almost everybody had some kind of issue here tonight. But Craig was able to come back and get fourth. I mean, that's huge. That's huge for a points day like that. To have a mistake on lap 1 and able to come back and get a fourth. And even Neil, I mean, those guys were so fast, but just a mistake from this turn or that turn, just really cost them a chance to battle Colin here tonight.
Well, like one of our fellow racers, Chris Hamilton, likes to preach, you win your championships on your bad days, and if a bad day for Greg Jancic is a fourth, he will certainly take that. I mean, he'd love to keep this podium string going here, but
and as Bryce Rayner too. I mean, he was fifth. I mean, he was up in the top 5 with these boys and had a chance for a really good day. And just unfortunate, events happened there and a couple spins, and he's able to still come home away with second in the AMP class. But what could have been for him too? Well,
yeah, I mean, he made so many mistakes on track, but he had that much speed and that much pace that those mistakes on track didn't really mean anything. It was the mistake in the pits that cost him everything here tonight. We'll talk to him here in a bit about that, but take a look at the rundown here for the pro class. Colin Winslow, your winner. Peter Moeller, Siviani Madrigal, Craig Jancic, Randy Ayers, your top 5. Then we got Dan Morera, Jonathan Neal, Frank Bassano, Brandon Powell, and Skyler Vickroy rounding out your top 10. Devin Young, Renan De Lima, Jose Peraza, Tyler Torville, Herbert Pineda, and then Jim Dutton rounding out the 16-car pro class field. In the AM class, it was John Nominger over Bryce Rayner, the only 2 drivers in the AM class not a lap down. Christian Ortiz Torres in 3rd. Jim Herrick, Carlos Rodriguez, the top 5. Then you got Kevin Nunn, William Burrell, Jay Little, Ian Wilson, and Todd Torville, your top 10, with Paul Bailey, Stephen Price, Ryan Farron, Brandon Potts, and Jason Potts rounding out the 15-car field. Let's go ahead and start bringing in our drivers here. And I guess, I mean, do we need them to wipe their feet before they come in here? Do we need to give them some...
Absolutely.
Give them some hair dryers to dry off here a little bit or something like that. But, yeah, let's go ahead and start bringing in our drivers. And we'll start with our 3rd-place finisher in the AM class, and that being Christian Ortiz Torres. And Christian, I picked you as one of the guys that I thought may have a chance here tonight to do some damage here from 3rd place, because tricky conditions out there. I don't think tricky is really the word. Deathly, horrible. I mean, I'm going to need a thesaurus for bad words here to describe the conditions out here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely very, very tough. Yeah, even for myself. I don't know how I made it to the podium, but I think I lost it 3 times in the last turn, making the mistake of being on the left side and just not making the turn. And yeah, I mean, made it to the podium. Apologies to the people that I did hit. And, yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of apologies sent out.
I was gonna say we don't have time. We don't have time to go through that right now. It's too long of a list.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, what was? I mean, was it the? I'm sure it was a mix of just about everything. But I mean, was it the visibility out there? Was it just the slick track? I mean, it seemed like no matter what you did out there, that car just did not want to point straight. At least for most of the field out here tonight, especially in the braking zones, we've seen so many guys. As soon as you touched on the, touched on the brakes, that thing wanted to get sideways.
Yeah, today was all about being gentle on the inputs, brakes, and coming out of the corner, and also trying to find that patch of the track that was not gonna make you slip. So yeah, today was more on the drive safe and survive. And yeah, I mean, fortunately, yeah, things happen in the rain, and it happened to us, but we made it to the podium.
Yeah, it's not often that a 40-minute race ends up turning into an endurance, but I gotta assume that's how it felt like that out there tonight.
Yeah, it's just nervous driving, and yeah, just trying to keep it on track.
Well, we'll let you get out of here. Let you go dry off a little bit here and collect your thoughts and maybe cry a little bit if you need to. I completely understand. But
Yes.
Before we do, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Shout outs to my family in Denver, my girlfriend Brooke, and everybody in CFG. And yeah, gonna go celebrate my birthday now.
Well,
Thank you guys.
Happy birthday, buddy, and a good way to spend it here on the podium. So congrats. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you guys. Thank you.
That is your third place finish here in the M class, the 11 of Christian Ortiz Torres. Second place is going to be the 24 of Bryce Rayner. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our second place finish here tonight?
Hey, Bryce, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, what a race for you. I mean, the ups and downs. I mean, at one point, you were up there in 5th overall and had such a gigantic lead over the second place in the AM division, and just had some issues there with this tough track conditions here tonight. Talk us through your night here.
Well, first of all, you pretty much said it up and down both ways. I started off really, really well, qualified really well. Was hoping to stay up there, all race, which most of the time I did. Just playing around with the fuel saving and whatnot. I missed some braking points, and that's how I, spun out, I think 3 times, and which sucked. That I saved it all, no damage whatsoever.
Yeah, you were able to keep it off the walls every time, which we were, when you watched the break, we were astonished that every time that you had any kind of issue, you were able to not bang off anything. So that was a great job saving the car and keeping it clean. And even the first time I think you spun, you were still in first in the AM class, so it wasn't detrimental. But I mean, you obviously lost a lot of time. But I think you ended up. I think you had the fastest lap of the race out of everybody.
I did, and then I think I overheard, later in the time after like the pits. I believe that's what I don't think I had the fastest time, but
okay,
definitely did really well. I literally just bought the track today, so I had no practice whatsoever besides the race and the qualifying. But yeah, to save the cars, I just put down the clutch and hopefully I stuck it. So
were you thinking about maybe no stopping it, because it looked like it was pretty close for a couple of guys? I know Randy tried to make it and he ended up having to pit on the last lap, but was it close for you, or at one point did you just like, well, I got to pit?
Well, I was going off of Craig, to be honest, because I know he spun early on, and I don't think he really. I assume he was saving, but after a couple spin outs and I was going through traffic and all that, coming up on, I don't know, was it like 3 or 2 laps to go? I was probably short, but I was saving in the second part of the race, and I probably could have saved a little bit more. Definitely did not want to push it and run out of gas and lose all my track position. So I was like, screw it, I will come into pit. And then I missed coming around the last turn. Actually, I was debating on pitting or not, and then I chose last minute and I got a black flag for that. But overall, I still saved a P2 in the AM class, and sadly a P12 overall, but could have done better there.
Yeah. So as speaking of ups and downs, I mean, you're able to come away second here tonight. You're third in points. You're able to finish ahead of Christian Torres, who is the leader in points. So you'll be able to probably come even with him. But with John winning tonight, he'll probably take the point lead. But you three are being, finishing in the top 3 almost every week here. So it's going to be a pretty fun battle the rest of the season to see who can come away with this AM championship.
Yeah, this was definitely one of my brighter days. I completely forgot about Daytona 2 weeks ago. That was a horrible race for me. Got some damage early on, and coming here, really had low expectations, but once the qualifying hit and a couple laps in, I was in the groove. So happy it all worked out for me, and can't wait for Spa, I believe, next week.
Yep, we go to Spa next week. Well, congrats on second here tonight. I mean, it could have been a lot better, but I think you'll take it and go to next week. And before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank just everybody in my wheelhouse, pit crew, everything, family, friends, and definitely the 4 words on the side of the car, Kappa. They were fast today, or I was fast today, but just couldn't get the job done.
All right, well, congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is your second place finisher here in the AM class tonight, the 24 of Bryce Rayner. Finally, the man we'll pull in here is the 44 of John Nobinger, winner here tonight in the AM class, as trying to get this thing just to calm down a little bit, as it's not being nice and really kind of jumping around here. So hopefully we can find a spot there, and there we go. We'll try from here. But anyway, John, sometimes you need to be lucky, sometimes you need to be good. Tonight you had to be both. You had to be in the right spot at the right time, and man,
wound up soaking wet.
yeah. I mean, the track conditions were just horrible out there for all the drivers out there, but you kept that car for the most part on the track. Certainly a few slip-ups in the beginning there, but you were kind of on your own pace then, and you're kind of in your own little world there in second place. A good margin behind the leader at the time, Rayner, and a good margin back to Torres and Herrick and Rodriguez, but it was a pit road mistake that gave you a chance at the end. I mean, it seemed like you kind of started feeling your way in the second half of the race and maybe turning up the wick here a little bit. But, I mean, walk us through the race. Walk us through driving this Porsche out here in the rain and what it was like. It seemed like it was the car of choice here tonight, but no car was easy.
No, it was the Porsche was quite stable 90% of the time, but every once in a while, it's like you went over the same exact part of the track you did in the last lap and hit the brakes, and it just would pitch on you, and then it was trying to collect it. So I caught the inside wall with the front. Said I had some damage, but didn't feel in it. But pretty much I stayed behind, I think it was Frank and Jonathan for a little while, and just following them learned a whole lot.
So only driver here in the entire field with now 2 wins on the season. It's got to feel great, and especially coming in here for your first season and knocking out 2 wins. But tonight was certainly not easy, and maybe it kind of needed to be handed to you. And maybe we need to let you head on down to pit road and pay off those pit road officials for giving Rayner that penalty there that got you a chance. But I mean, either way, even if you come home in second here, it's got to feel like a great start to the season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did just a little bit of practice before this, trying to figure out which car. Tried the Merc and was just like, "Oh my God, this is awful." And a few weeks ago, Dane had asked me for some help. He goes, "Can you set a lap here at Brands Hatch?" And I go, "I'm apparently awful at Brands Hatch. You're faster than me, so sorry, can't help." And
well, you just need a little bit of rain.
I was like, maybe I have a chance.
Yeah,
maybe.
You're just, in horse racing, sometimes you have horses that are good on dry conditions, and you have mudders. Well, maybe you're just a mudder here. So
it was definitely a mudder.
we'll let the second word of that let that go. But either way, John, congrats again on another win here, your second win of the season, and great start to the season here. Should have the points lead pretty nicely here heading into Spa next week. So before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Oh, definitely for you and Joe up there in the booth. I know, well, I'm sure there's plenty of action.
Well, there's plenty to talk about tonight. You don't have to worry about that.
But yeah, congratulations, Joe. Thank you for Jim for putting all this on, and the rest of everybody that does CSRL. And it's a good group of guys to run with so far.
Absolutely. Well, just like I said to Christian, go dry off, go go cry in a pillow if you need to, and we'll see you next week at Spa, and hopefully
part of the house where the air conditioning works.
Well, that too. Yeah, exactly. So, congrats again, and we'll see you next week at Spa.
All right, hopefully.
That is your winner here in the AM class, the 44 of John Nobinger. And figure since it's jumping around here a little bit, we're just gonna pause on the cars here once we see him. So it's not your screen that's having issues. It's iRacing or servers or whatever the case is. So instead of watching cars blink around and hoping that it doesn't kick me out, we're just going to pause on these cars. But we'll switch over now to the Pro Class, and third place here tonight. Certainly a fun run here for him, and got to watch a lot of good battling here. But Joe, why don't you go ahead and take third place here, the 8 of Siviani Madrigal.
Hey there, Siviani, you got a copy?
Hey guys, yeah.
Hey, you seem to always do really well in these rainy conditions, and tonight's no different. You're able to come away with third place here tonight. Talk me through kind of how you were able to navigate that and come away here third tonight.
Oh, well, thank you guys. Well, it was a pretty tough race. Definitely this track in the rain, well, it's even more hotter than anyone else. And yeah, so I was just trying to keep my pace. I was, well, I think the first lap is where everything's getting the puzzles better for my race. Because, well, I see Craig and also other guys, they also do a kind of spin right there. And I was able to gain a couple of positions right there. But yeah, so after that, so I just see I was in the fourth position. And I was just in the first row, just watching the battle between Peter and Randy. It was an amazing battle right there. I was just an spectator right there, just watching that battle, and just decided to keep my pace, and also keep behind Peter as much I can. I just realized that the other guy behind me was like 11 or 13 seconds behind me, so I just tried to not push so hard and just keep my position. And I was thinking in two things in the strategy. I don't know if they were maybe saving, but I realized that they were, Peter and Randy, they were battering so hard. I was thinking that they were not saving so much fuel, and yeah, so I'll just try to keep there and see what the race comes to me and offers to me. And at the end, I just realized that I will not make it with 2 laps on my fuel. I was not able to save so much fuel to finalize the race. So I made a mistake, and Randy passed me over right in the last curve, last turn. And then so I just decided to pit for more fuel and see what happened. And I also think that Randy was not able to complete the full race, because he also has to pit for more fuel, and there is where I can get to the third position.
Yeah, you were riding behind Peter and Randy there, and we were talking about maybe if you were just letting them battle it out and you try to maybe save some fuel and let them burn their stuff up. And because I heard in the practice that it was a possibility to go without stopping, but it looks like everybody ended up having to stop. But it was pretty close, I mean, with only you pitted with 2 laps to go, and I think Randy made it to 1 lap to go, but he ran out coming into the pits, I believe. So it was pretty close. So you find a way to come away with good finishes in these tough conditions. I mean, that's just a testament to how well you can drive in these hard conditions and being able to stay out of that trouble and keep this thing on the track.
Yeah. I think that's the key in the rain, right? So not try to avoid any trouble. Try to avoid push so hard, because you never know what is going to happen during the breaks. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do when it is raining session. Just try to keep my car doing the things itself, and not pushing so hard, because if I push so hard, so definitely I will get out of the track.
Yeah, well, with this finish, it's going to get you back up in the points where we're used to seeing you up there in the top 5, top 3. So it's a good day for points and a good day for a P3, and when these tough conditions. So congrats on that. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Well, no, to you guys, for this amazing broadcast every Wednesday you offer to us, and also to all the crew and the admins in the league. They are also doing an amazing job right there. And yeah, and also to all the people that are watching those these broadcasts. And yeah, it's a really nice one to see that we have a lot of people seeing these broadcasts. And yeah, also to my family and to all the people that I can always be thankful for all the things that they come to me.
All righty. Well, congrats on third, and we will see you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good one. Take care.
That is your third place finisher in the pro class, the 8 of Siviani Madrigal. Second place, we've certainly seen plenty of him, and that is the 997 of Peter Moeller. And Peter, heck of a race for you here tonight. You come away with a second place, but man, you had to absolutely fight for it. You had to try and push your way through at times. Then finally, Randy makes a mistake, and you're able to get by for second. But what a race out there tonight! And I mean, it's hard enough being out there and trying to tackle this track in regular conditions, let alone in these raining conditions. But when he had spray in your face pretty much the entire first half of this race.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, no, visibility was very tough. Yeah, and Randall put up a really good fight all the way through the race. I was hoping he was going to make a mistake. Eventually he did. But I tried a couple times to stuff my nose in, and was it turn 1, 2, 3, 4? We did a little door banging there, I know, but yeah, good race, I think overall. Congrats to Colin on the win. He drove a great race.
Yeah, do you feel like if
same to Siviani, he was right there the whole race too.
Yeah, he had a front row view to watching you guys battle pretty much the entire race there. Do you feel like if you could have gotten around Ayers a little bit earlier, that maybe you would have had something for Winslow, or do you think he was just kind of on another pace here tonight?
Well, it had good pace. After I got past Randall, I do believe, yeah, I think I was picking up a little bit of time. I don't know if he was just taking it easy or what, but yeah, that was hard fought.
Yeah.
Hard fought. Credit to Randall. He drove a really hard race.
Well, hard fought just to survive this thing and just to make it to the end. I mean, there's not too many guys that made it all the way to the end without making any kind of mistakes, and you made very few from what we've seen. But it seemed like really braking zones were kind of the bugaboo for a lot of drivers, and either missing them or locking up or one way or another. That back end was shaky, to say the least, going in these braking zones. Did you feel the same way for you?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely. Well, you got yourself a second place here tonight, and a good chance that I mean, my calculations show that you should be up there in the points, if not the points leader, heading into what is now race number 4 at Spa. Do you feel like it's a track that you're good at, you're familiar with, you have a chance to maybe make a run at a win?
I do. Yeah, I do like Spa. So I do. We'll see how the Porsche does up against everybody else.
All right. Well, once again, congrats on the second place here tonight. We'll see hopefully some better weather conditions over there in Belgium for the race next week. But before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, once again, CSRL and you guys at Core, and again, podium winners Colin and Siviani. Credit to both of them, and again, credit to Randall. He put up a hard fight. Absolutely.
Well, hopefully we see some more of that next week at Spa. But we'll let you go for now. Dry out a little bit, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks much.
That's your second place finisher here tonight in the pro class, the 997 of Peter Moeller. Last but not least, your winner here tonight. It took him a whole. About a half a lap to finally get the lead and wrestle away from these guys up front. But Joe, why don't you go ahead and take your winner here tonight, Colin Winslow?
Yeah, Colin, talk me through, how were you able to get that lead there in 1 and 2?
That's a setup question, right? I mean, two easy mistakes to make going into, cold, wet tires are the worst. It's a really tough tire to be on. Is cold tires in general, even cold dry tires are rough, but when you're on cold treaded tires, it is a different ball game. And yeah, it's so easy to spin.
Yeah, cold tires, it kind of feels like you're on marbles, and then you throw the water on there, and then it's like a sheet of ice. So it's like driving on marbles on ice, and and you're racing around 30 other cars on a tight track like that, and it was not much room for error, you know, as you were able to be one of the few cars to kind of just stay out of trouble the entire race.
Yeah, Brands Hatch is a tough track to pass on to begin with. I mean, if this track was completely dry, there might have been less passing. It's just such a tight track to begin with, and you throw rain on it, and you're riding around behind people with spray, and you're trying to get past lap cars. And if you get off the line, the dry line, obviously it just gets way more slippery. So passing was just extremely difficult. Coming up on lap traffic was probably the biggest. That was the biggest difficulty I faced this race. So.
Yeah, with that lead that you had, was there any thought of no stopping? Because we had just got to you and we're talking about it, and as soon as we started talking about it, you came down pit road because you had, I can't remember at the time, but a pretty substantial lead, and there was, I think, maybe 2 laps or maybe 3 laps left to go, and we were wondering if you were going to try to maybe save, you know, back your pace off and save enough that way. Because, you know, if you try to pit that late, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when you're going to come out and what kind of situation that's going to present itself. So was there a chance you could, or was it just pit and hope?
There definitely was a chance. That was the biggest strategy point for me for this race was in practice, I saw what fuel I was averaging in the wet. Because obviously in the wet, you're off the throttle way more. So you use a lot less fuel per lap. And that was a thing for me, is like I saw how much fuel I was using in practice per lap, and I, from the start of that race, especially after the top 2 spun, I was in fuel save mode for the first 10-12 minutes of that race, and I just wanted to see how much I could average. But even after those first 10 or 12 minutes, I was still about a lap and a half short if I ran that same pace. So it wasn't worth it. So about 10, 12 minutes in, that's when I started pushing. So.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it, and because it was getting real late. I mean, there was under 5 minutes left, and there was a couple cars that hadn't pit yet, and we were wondering what the strategy was and what the strategy call would be, because I mean, Randy was 1 lap short from making it. He ended up running out coming to the pit road there, but he went long, and I think Siviani went long, so it was close for a couple of those guys. And
that was the thing I was worried about is when I'm in front, I'm worried that the guys behind me are saving enough to be able to make it the whole race. So when I'm sitting in front and I'm watching, the one I was worried about was Peter, right? Because he's following Randall the whole race, and in my head, I'm thinking that Peter's not passing Randall because he's using him to fuel save. Just that little bit of draft is going to help him save enough fuel to finish the race. But luckily, that wasn't the case. And then Randall was the one I was worried about. I came out of the pits and I was behind Randall. But luckily, it just wasn't feasible. And even if he had been fuel saving those last 2 laps, he probably did, like, he would have had to really try to keep the pace to keep me behind him.
Yeah, they were not fuel saving when you. Yeah. I know you weren't able to watch, obviously, but they were going at it. I mean, pretty good and battling each other, and then Siviani was right behind them, just enjoying the front row show, and we thought maybe he was saving enough because 5th place was like a mile back, 20 seconds back, so he had no pressure for 4th. So we thought maybe he could save enough to be able to make it, but ended up being everybody had to pit, so it was a lot of speculation and a lot of drama unfolding there those last 5 minutes, but it was fun, and you were able to get that lead at the first lap and just kind of just drive away from everybody. You had unbelievable pace here in the rain tonight.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the rain is a lot about just being consistent, because the rain is so hard to put in lap after lap good times. So it's really about being consistent and not making mistakes. And luckily, I was able to do that tonight.
Well, it's you get your first win of the season here, and going to propel you up in the points. So give Craig and Peter and all them guys up top there some some battling here as we go to Spa next week. How are we feeling about Spa? Is we gonna see you in the top 3 there?
Yeah, I hope so. I like Spa. It's a good track, but everybody knows Spa, so it's up in the air, right? It's not something that's as niche as Brands Hatch in the rain. So I'll probably have more competition at Spa. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a good race there.
All righty. Well, congrats on the win. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Appreciate it. Shout out to you guys always. Love that you guys are back for another season. You guys do a fantastic job. Shout out to my dad, my grandfather, my mom, my girlfriend should be watching tonight. So yeah, shout out to everybody. Hopefully everybody's watching right now. So
right on. We'll go celebrate, and we will see you next week at Spa.
Sounds good, boys.
All righty.
That's your winner here tonight, the 19 of Colin Winslow here in the pro class. And yeah, girlfriend, I'm not sure if that was a should be watching, as in she better be watching or not, but either way, if she is, we'll say hello to her from CRN here, and a good time to tune in to watch. If
she didn't watch, Colin we know Winslow. What they're watching now.
Yeah, as we had Peter Muller up there the whole time, but there's Colin Winslow in the beautiful 19, the new paint scheme there for him for this season. But man, I mean, these cars look good because the rain kept them nice and clean, but the rain also made them very, very dirty and made them go off track quite a bit here tonight. It was one heck of an up and down race for a lot of these drivers. I mean, Colin Winslow probably the only one that we didn't really see put a foot wrong too much here tonight, and it was very, very easy to do. And I think Peter Muller kind of hit the nail on the head. Slow and steady wins the race, and it's what got him a second place there. A little bit of patience in the battle with Randy Ayers, and Colin Winslow certainly did a great job out here. You know, was not ever necessarily a threat for the fastest lap of the race, as that did end up going to Jonathan Neal, just a smidge faster than Bryce Rayner in the M class there. But it wasn't about speed here tonight. It was about survival, Joe.
Yeah, survival and just trying to see something. I mean, the visibility is just terrible with this rain and this tight track like that. And you know, 31 cars on the track, you're going to get some overspray and just make visibility tough. And then trying to find a different braking zone, you know, into a turn that you've been having some trouble with, and it just. I bet these guys are probably glad that the race is over. Not that they don't like that track, but the conditions were just terrible here tonight.
Once again, next week is going to be at the Circuit des Spa Francorchamps, and going to be a fun one there. The Spa 24-hour race coming up soon for iRacing, so I'm sure a lot of these guys are getting tuned up for that. I know myself, I need to start getting out there and getting some practice and get ready for the team event for that one. It's a fun one, and one of the few that I've had the pleasure of being on a winning team for, and it's not easy, just like any other 24-hour race. But these guys will have to do it for 40 minutes as usual here in CSRL, as hopefully we'll now be able to continue and keep this thing on Wednesday nights and not have any other kind of hiccups, and we'll hopefully see everybody back out here on 7/17 for next week. But I mean, it's been a crazy season altogether, on and off the track, as we've seen. But a great one here tonight. Want to say one more, show one more message out there to make sure you tune in for the 17th, not just for CSRL, but check out the MS charity race, and check out the broadcast for Jim Herrick, as he's going to be teaming up with iRacing, our former IndyCar racer, Rishi Hearn, for the in the 40 Raceware Corvette for the fourth annual charity race to benefit the National MS Society. And check out the links below if you want to, if you're able to make a donation to the National MS Society, or purchase one of the great Beginner's Guide to Racing Flags T-shirts or hoodies, which again, you can find all the links down below, and you can find the link for the broadcast as well, which you can tune into right after the great CSRL broadcast. Hopefully they both put on a great show for you. But that is going to do it. Put the umbrellas away, go get dry, get ready for some racing action next week once again, and we may have some more news coming out as we got some things in the works behind the scenes. May have another broadcast for you. Definitely going to have another special event coming up, but you'll have to tune in next week to find out some more details. So for myself and Joe here at Rainy England and Brands Hatch, see you at the track.